Hello there, my delicious darlings. How are you this evening? I hope you're keeping warm and safe. Has the weather started to cool where you are? Or is the warmth hanging in there for a few more weeks? Welcome back to the channel and to another episode. Today's episode came to me just as I was completing the layout for last week's show. It occurred to me that we had dealt with mythological creatures that were good and ones that were evil. But we had yet to consider creatures capable of being both or either. This time, we will hear 7 poems about mythological creatures that are neither all bad nor all good. Since that is a bracket that most human beings find themselves in, I decided it would be ungrateful not to let our fellow creatures of undecided morals enjoy a little attention. So sit down, snuggle in, and get ready to enjoy the episode. Let's go. The destiny of the dragon. Once, so men say, in the vast green land of Wales, there were often glimpsed circling in the sky, great beasts of air and fire. Some called them dragons. The hills and valleys echoed with their cry, and people stood aghast to see them diving, so lithe and graceful on their tapered wings. Though, when they came to land, they were enormous. Behemoths of bone and skull thundering with every breath. Oh yes, dragons were fearful. Their size and strangeness drew many a cry from trembling lips, but they were lovely also, shining cerulean against the sky, or red or green or even gold as wheat silk. Their scales twinkled when dawnlight caressed them. The myth that said they lived on hoards of treasure was born because their breasts twinkled like gems. So graceful was their dance that men and milkmaids forgot their chores and stared to see them spin through upper air. Sometimes 2 flew as a pair, shooting so close but never quite touching. Time was, it said, that few men feared the dragon. Indeed, legend tells they were mankind's friend and lived contentedly near their villages, rising only when called out to defend their mortal charges. The oldest of stories say that young mothers would leave their babies in the care of the dragons in the winter, for their hot hearts would keep them warm with ease. Of course, the little ones never came to harm, though crawling on the dragon's massive claws. Not once did they consider it might snap up a few of them to fill its hungry jaws. Sadly, though, it seems the détente did not last as it should have. Sure, something must have changed, because, as time rolled forth, the easy comrades began to show suspicion, fear, and blame. The people no longer came to the dragon to visit or to bring food to its cave. Some simply ignored the beast, while still others wanted to capture it as a bound slave. Next thing you knew, the dragon was called evil, and knights of good heart soon rode out to war against the monsters, devourers of maidens, to quench the flames that no water could thaw. Then, when a dragon rode the upper thermals, people cried out and hid away in fright. No one lingered to hear the dragons singing, their rich voices ringing into the night. So this I ask, were dragons good or evil? Which of the two is their identity? And was it their actions that finally changed their reputation, or the villainy of some who hungered after tales of treasure and sought to carve glory from out their hide? Is the dragon a monster or a martyr? Think about what I've told you and decide. The Banshee. Something's in the air this evening. Could it be a thunderstorm? The whip and whistle of the wind? But then, the voice sounds so forlorn, so lonely and bereft, like one who mourns the passing of a friend. Perhaps someone who's lost a love, and will mourn them without an end. It snags the ear, it stings the eye, and makes the heart within you quake. Yet it tugs upon the heartstrings, and makes the soul within you ache. Many, I suppose, just dismiss the howling and turn away. Of those who notice, some may find the mistake marks their dying day. The banshee is a mystic creature, born of ancient fairy stock. They are seen beside woods and rivers, but they can evade the lock on any building, old or new. They go wherever fate calls them. Anyone who hears their voice raised will never after forget them. Some rest beside slow waterways, washing the torn and bloody clothes of those who are about to die from sickness or from heavy blows. Others go sailing through the night upon the fragrant Irish air, while anguished tears pour down their face, and she wrings her hands in despair. Their lament overwhelms the storm. Through castle halls and rooms it rings, as the tender-hearted banshee mourns a death in the line of kings. Many may quake, tremble, and shake to see the fearful banshee near, her long hair knotted by the wind, eyes red with her near constant tears. But though some fear to hear the call of the banshee is to meet death, they need not worry for themselves or tremble at the loss of breath. The banshee is not cruel or harsh, but only does what she must do. If you be not of blood of kings, she will not wail nor cry for you. The ravens. The ravens sit silent on the castle tower. Nobody knows they are prisoners there, or that a man liveried in bright crimson comes to their cell daily to give them care. The pair do not complain in their silken gyves. They have a secret their captors don't know, that they live there to sustain a monarchy that fears its ending should they ever go. Their keeper thinks them born from generations. He doesn't know they have lived centuries. They have been gods to long-forgotten tribesmen, and watched the deaths of queens and ministaries. The female perched in Villa Diodati, and watched as Frankenstein shuddered to life. The other broke Poe's heart, cawing nevermore would he see the woman he wished to wife. They know so much, the pair, at their high vantage, not just the state of lamented Lenore, but what phantoms will rise and men will sink down, until Leviathan treads England's shores. Then their fetters will shatter into pieces, and what restrains them now will be no more. Then the male will share the black sky with legions, while the female sits by death's ear soaked in gore, seeing the sin and good in every soul, and instructs him which to strike with his breath, while others, the good, fly upwards to heaven, where they will dwell in peace beyond all death. For now, accept a warning to the thoughtful. If you come once to England's gardens green, and find the tower, bow towards the ravens, as you'd bow to a chancellor or queen. They'll add respect to your list in your credit. And when the dead rise up again to see what they can do upon the earth's green surface, then your credit with them may see you free. Ghosts. Man's heart may thrill with horror when he hears upon the lonely stair the footsteps of a creature that his mind insists should not be there, or hears a low voice whisper when, while in his hall of aged stone, he sits in the fire-warmed library, reading his books all alone. While we may thrill by winter's flames to tales of the lingering dead, if on a hot summer evening you feel a hand caress your head, when the house is empty of all, save those who mutter in their sleep, and the doors and windows are locked, so no intruding soul might creep in to distress you, even those who regularly express they do not accept that ghosts exist, and will not till their dying day hold in their shadowed secret heart a tremble of unspoken fear, of those who speak that should not speak, of ones once cherished and held dear, made strange by that final great leap into the abyss known as death, removed at once from family by the cessation of their breath. Those people, if they returned now, would be a thing wrong and untrue. they one time loyal and beloved, would nonetheless bring death to you. Yet deeper still and more profound is the instinct that a true friend cannot be transformed in nature by the brief sleep that's not an end, but just such change happens as when we go at night from wake to sleep. Therefore, we smile in the dark to hear a vagrant floorboard creak, even should a voice from the black whisper terrors we cannot know. We keep faith with the good above, who watch over us where we go. For if ghosts come, it is as like they are ministers of the light as some foul thing full of contempt, sent to drag us into the night. Giants. A giant is a fearsome thing, or so the tales of ancients say, and if a glimpse of one is seen, the best course is to run away, or risk the hunger and the rage of a creature so cruel and foul that it might strip our flesh down quick, as if we were a guinea fowl, or crush us down into the dirt, till we're fragments or atomies of bone to be cast on the wind and dispersed wherever it pleased, even in some other dark way, mete out to us a painful end. What mortal born from such vile things could hope their bodies to defend? Giants have long been famed for rage, like the great Goliath of old, but others have defenders been, of kingdoms wrought from purest gold. A gentle child was once held up inside a selfish giant's palm, as he placed him in a fruit tree, and asked what fool had done him harm. Another time, a little girl escaped a cold orphanage bed, and traveled home in the pocket of one who dispersed dreams instead. There is a giant who drives fools down from the slopes of Ben Macdui, and a giant of Greek renown who bears the globe courageously. Even the Nephilim of old had some who scorned humanity, but others, regardless of birth, showed us fraternal chivalry. So the legend of giants draws, on the one side to deep dismay, but on the other side to joy, of friends who will forever stay. House fairies. We've heard of fairies light a fire with wisdom, who spread justice and truth throughout their lands, and dark fairies who, in a realm of twilight, a toll of blood and hot, slick flesh demand. But wait, there are of the creatures a third breed, seeming neither so foul nor so blessed, who can bring help and relief to some people, or call up deep hardship at their behest. These fairies come in many forms and figures. Indeed, they live by many different names. They may dwell in the garden, green and lovely, or settle snug inside the wooden frames of human houses where, if cherished always, they will reside in the home helpfully. The fairies may assist the weary housewife in keeping her kitchen and home tidy. Such fairies of garden and of the home place seldom prove a dreadful danger to be, given that those within the home remember to treat them in all wise respectfully. It is not a hard thing to do, bethink you, if we believe the Celtic tales of old. The fairies do not demand much from mortals, only some bread, a bowl of porridge cold, some cider or a glass of good malted beer. No more thanks than a good friend might ask, who'd spent a day in rough manual labor to help a neighbor with a menial task. And yet beware, though showing them grateful thanks is a thing that all wise people must do. Never, when speaking to fairies in your home, should you ever utter the words "thank you." Those words, if spoken to another human, would surely be accepted happily, but a fairy would a grave insult think it, and respond to it with a black fury. Never after, in your home or in your bed, would you find peace, respite, or happiness. For a fairy, if incensed by a mortal, will wed itself at once to their distress. And even though, in awful fear and blank dread, from the old property at once you flew, The fairy, intent on revenge and cruelty, might choose to walk the big wide world with you. So leave a dram or a wee bowl out for them to express thanks and gratitude, and then hurry to bed. For no one thrives in this world who seeks to shun or trick the little men. Shapeshifters. We know to fear the wolf who walks throughout the month as mortal man, but at the prompting of the moon's bright silver glow with great clawed hands, runs out in the fur of a wolf to run the woods and haunt the night, seeking unwary souls to transform into brothers with a bite. But what of those who change at will instead of when the planets move? Are they as dangerous? Or could the shapeshifter an ally prove? To mortal men, are stories of friendship with shifters, even love, truly fragments of history or only fond dreams that would prove the hopes of those who would remake the world into a gentle thing? Is it intended to soothe fears, a lullaby that mothers sing? Does it matter what way they change? It's known some shed kindred blood in their ambition to alter and afterwards let loose a flood of blood and gristle. They must be free to power their vile sorcery. Those ones avoid with all your might. Don't meet their eyes, just turn and flee. Yet others, through their nature, change and alter without sacrifice. Some tread the upper vaults of air or race across mountains of ice. They're the elder siblings of man, half wedded to the changing earth, and half to the seasons through which men have flowed from their day of birth. Those in their hearts have no rancor except for those who do them wrong. They're not divided from the world. They move in rhythm with its song. Do not allow the fear of those who change their skins to trouble you. Only hold tightly to your own and pray the worst stay clear of you. Subscribe to become a delicious darling. So, what do you think of the creatures in today's poems? Which of them do you consider the most threatening? Are there any you think to be safe? As always, I would love to hear your thoughts and feelings in the comments. Today's word for those who reached the end of the video is Raven. If you enjoyed our video, please like, subscribe, or follow. It only takes a moment, but it means a great deal to me and will allow me to share my stories with more people. Tonight, I am returning to the library between the universes for a reading by one of the cosmos's best known and oldest scholars. People have waited hundreds of years to meet him in person, so I was fortunate to get a ticket. I am so excited. Until we meet again, enjoy your evening. May your dreams be full of wonder, and sleep well, my delicious darlings.